Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully, you guys having a great and exceptional day. It's Wednesday, so happy hump day to everybody. And hey, let's get this word of the day going. So today's word of the day is Nelson. I remember I was a kid, first time hearing this word, known as the full Nelson, because it is a wrestling hold in which the user places an arm under the opponent's arm and pressures the wrist or the palm of the hand against the opponent's neck, known as the full Nelson and whatnot. And the reason why I chose that word today is because when you're going to everybody, every chance we get, whether we're online, out in the real world, you're going to face a specific adversary. Now, some adversaries can be friendly, some can be considered an ally and whatnot. That's how nations and villages and communities and neighborhoods, for the most part, have been able to stay in existence. Because if you're always at war with somebody, you're not able to fully function on the things that actually matter, especially in today's world. What is the next innovation that's happening? How are you going to attack things from an economic standpoint and not just a military standpoint? Whether you love or hate the Chinese, that's what they do. They really have been attacking people from economic and a cyber perspective. Do I care for it? No. Do I am I on the side of China? No. But you can always learn from people that you don't particularly care for. You can always, for most parts, most countries, even if they don't particularly care for each other, they find some sort of way to have some sort of partnership. Now, whether that partnership is fair or equal, that's another story for another day, because all partnerships are different. But great example, if America, Canada, and Mexico, which is the part of, basically North America, once you get to Mexico, it's considered Central America. But, for the most part, we're neighbors. America's neighbors to Canada and Mexico. We might have our differences. We might have our issues when it comes to multitude of things. But if we were always at war with each other, none of these nations could be somewhat, quote unquote, functional nations, So the reason why I chose this word today is because the full Nelson doesn't kill your opponent. It just subdues them and makes them possibly give. And then hopefully you can open up a situation where you can have different terms of the new agreement in regards, depending on whatever arrangement that you may have and whatnot. That's just how life is. That's how good relationships are. That's how good marriages are. You're not always going to get what you want, but having the powerful art of negotiation, the give and take situation, know when to be more aggressive and know when to be more chill. It's all these things are very subjunctive. So therefore, it's never as clear and as black and white as possible. And if you know me, I'm a person who likes to keep things black and white. But when you're dealing with people's emotions, we're dealing with relationships, it's not always as black and white. But doing the simple things in life are very black and white. Like I just checked in for my flight. That's a black and white thing. Okay. Me getting an Uber, that's a black and white thing. I got to select the Uber. So it's simple things. You keep it simple. But when it comes to business and relationships, negotiations, it's very subjunctive. It's very gray. So I'll leave it at that. Today's quote of the day is very simple. It's by Tupac. He says, "You either ride with us or you collide with us." And that's how I look at anybody that's involved in my life. You either riding with me or you colliding with me, but there's no in between. And if you're colliding with me, cool. I'd rather know that you're colliding with me, not because I'm trying to wage war with you, but just because I need to know the rules of engagement when I'm dealing with you. Great example. If America has a base in another country, like everybody knows, America's got bases in Germany. That's not a big secret. My parents met in Germany, so I used back in the early 1979, 1980. I was born in 1983. My parents are both in the army. They met in Germany, in Stuttgart, Germany, and and then they got married. They had me. It is what it is. But just because that the Americans have a base in a specific country, and even if that's quote unquote considered a friendly country, you still have to understand that you're in somebody else's backyard, and there's different rules of engagement when you're there, and you have to tread lightly, and deal with the different formalities and deal with that country's laws. It is what it is. And that's why there's been able to be peaceful cooperation because of that. And it's the same thing when I go someplace else. I know that I'm going to operate differently. It doesn't mean I'm going to act a fool. Doesn't mean I'm just going to sit down in the corner and hope and pray that nothing bad is going to happen to me. But I know I have to operate a little bit more differently and be way more respectful and be way more careful on how I move compared to where I live at. All right. So now do the great thing for things, like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day. And as I always say, make money moves or you're going to live like a fool. Take care.